They want to have better communication. If you're going to make big splits like that, it's so vital that you actually have good communication for that.
It definitely is, and it comes down to those fights. And as you mentioned earlier, that fight earlier on just took way too long with Yangon, allowing the Arena to just come and just pretty much start picking them apart. You need to be fully set. If you're gonna be able to get the fight, just use those angles that you guys usually get. Use those splits that you guys usually get to just finish off a fight like what we were able to see during survival stage. Right now, I'm not seeing the alter ego that I expected to see here in this situation.
Well, of course, thank you very much, guys. We're going to head over to the stage now and see what Veracity's got for us over on the stage.
Welcome back, everybody, to day 2 of the grand finals here at PMWC. My name is Veracity, and if there's one thing that I've learned throughout the duration of this event, it's that eliminations don't necessarily guarantee chicken dinners. And match 1 is certainly proof of that. Let me tell you that right now. We saw Regnum Cario, who opted to secure some placement points, but unfortunately they fell down short to none other than Alpha Gaming with the power of the dockening. Those boys managed to secure themselves 12 eliminations and 10 placement points. What do you make of that, Barney?
Well, Veracity, what do I make of that? I make a map number 2. It seems like most teams are actually still alive at stage 3 of the circle, meaning that most of our teams are playing a little bit more passively. But the final face-off was between Yangon Galactic Ops and Fireflux eSports, with Yangon taking 19 points and the chicken dinner, but also Fireflux managing to secure 12, I was about to say 17, what's wrong with me? 12 elimination points as well. Map number 3 was an opportunity for teams to climb that leaderboard because the top 2 teams were eliminated fairly early on. So DRX had an opportunity. The duo, they fought valiantly, but ultimately they were taken out. And Power Esports, our local heroes, they managed to secure the chicken dinner. GG's all around. You know what, Veracity? It's day 2. The birds are chirping, everyone's singing, and players are getting gunned down left, right, and centre, and I'm loving it.
You know what, Barney? I'm absolutely here for it. So without further ado, let's go ahead, dive into match number 4. We're good, and get the show on the road.
Show on the road, baby. Let's get it going. Hey, look, it's going to be a lot of fun here. Taylor Reflections double joined by John. We head into map 4. We already have, well, really a 2-horse race at the moment towards the top. Yangon Galacticus have been highly consistent from yesterday. Of course, 3 winner chicken dinners, dwarfing everyone who currently sits at 1. That is the max. Yangon Galacticus in a totally different stratosphere, even when it comes to eliminations at 54. Alpha Gaming, though, very close to them, and the team to potentially catch up. The question is, can we also add in an additional racer? In this case, DRX. They are the closest. We got our official map feed, by the way. Go and check it out, and it's live right now on YouTube, so you can know where everybody is at and follow along with the commentary. John, Yangon Galacticus taking the tournament by storm. It looks like they just refuse to slow down.
It is a little bit unexpected as well. A lot of other names in this tournament were presumed to be on the front page where they are not, up towards the top of the tables where they are not as well. And we were wondering if Yangon Galacticos could come in from yesterday, obviously having a massive day 1. It's not often that we see that continue in such a fashion, but this time around, Yangon Galacticos have managed to solve the puzzle. The question is, can they keep that pace up? Because they are streets ahead of everybody else, up and over that 10-point average, right? And that is what we look at for the metric to think about a first place team, right? Over that 10-point average as our teams are getting ready to drop on it. Hey, that's Sanhok. We don't need that one anymore. We're going back over towards Erangel for the final time today. The grassy pastures await as we will send our 16 finals teams once again over and into the skies.
Let's get it going. The big thing for today off the back end of these maps, for any of those rosters who are below first place, which is setting the threshold going into Smash Point tomorrow, you've got to catch up. You really do. If you're Alpha Gaming, DRX, especially when you drop down to Fireflux, Wavo, and Power, you've got a long way to go. We're talking at some points 40 plus or more points that are needed in order to reach the theoretical threshold, which who knows where it'll be. Yangon Galacticos are on fire. This game, they could apex 100 points. That is the reality. But here it is, our last Erangel of the day. Before we head into back-to-back Miramars, it's always fun. That last zone was wonderful to see, but we haven't had a true military zone today, so I'm hoping we get a little bit of that action.
Hey, you never know. We have had a few of them so far this tournament, though. I think we've had 2 military circles already gracing us with their presence at the moment. And as I said before, that 10-point average is what you look at for the top team. So obviously, with the Smash ruling, the number of matches played in this set are variable. If it goes the distance, we'll get up to 18 matches at the end of day 3. That is if nobody wins via Smash ruling. So 180 points, it's likely you're at least in the running for that first place spot. So we'll have to see if our teams can keep up that pace. I think coming into this tournament, looking at Fireflux right now, being the main contender from Europe, from Turkey, this is not the team that you would have put at the top of the list, right? You have Falcons from the Europe region.
That's right.
You have also Regnum Kaya from the Turkish region, such a passionate region. Coming into the season even, right? Fireflux were kind of down in the dumps, so to see them now up in 4th place, it is a great return to form coming through for them, but they are still so far behind Django Galacticos, it feels so unlikely to be able to take this one.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, 3 winner-winner chicken dinners is insane, right? In grand finals, and that's going to be so valuable going into tomorrow's competition when they do, or if they do, I should say, rather, pass the threshold. Well, they are a team that has proven that they can win. And the scary thing, they've proven they can win consistently on Erangel, which is map number 2, 3, and 4. So the tournament could very well end in just 2 maps, but like you said, it could also go the distance and go to the final map number 6. And even for the team that wins, right, you got to consider the standings still matter. Getting as many points as possible is still critical, even if you don't necessarily have a chance to win, because once that team does in fact conclude the tournament, where you stand is where you're ending the tournament, right? That's the amount of money you're going to be making. So if you go into map number 3, the team who's eligible for Smash Point, they win the tournament, and you're sitting in 8th place, you're not happy with that? You don't have a choice. You don't have any more games to go through and ultimately elevate yourself up the standings. So every point matters, and for some of those rosters towards the bottom, they seriously need to get to work. But as we do start talking about map number 4, we've got a northern zone. Quite a few teams need to make their way up, and obviously I look at Thunder Talk, APG, Weibo, who now have to go across that western bridge where 4 Thrives is currently at, albeit there is still plenty of time. But 3 teams in military, it's about the max you want to see over there.
Yeah, it's not too many more that could reasonably stay at each other's arm's lengths and be nice and safe. I imagine Weibo are going to go for a rotate through the water, whether that's on hovercrafts, boats, will depend on what they've been able to find around the coastline. They can send over towards potentially Primorsk from this drop, so not really going to be conflict on that western bridge for now. Previously, we've also seen 4 Thrives depart from the ferry pier area fairly early on and not contest APG on this rotate. It's not impossible. I don't think 4 Thrives are going to go for a bridge camp, especially with the river sat right in the middle of the circle.
Yeah.
You want to put yourself in a position to go north, to go south of that river at the drop of a hat, because it currently splits the middle of the circle. It's my least favorite circle in the game.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you mentioned Weibo. They do, in fact, rotate out, and the hovercraft is going to be great for in-game or potentially just any fights that you get out into the open. Hovercrafts are critical, in my opinion, when it comes to rotations on Erangel. The fact that they already have one is great. He is going to go ahead and go inland as far as he can with Sook. So to see what is up ahead, which will be DRX, but still plenty of distance between the two. And I agree with you on the 4 Thrives narrative. Just looking at the map, with them being split up in that 2-2 split, I don't see them gatekeeping APG. We don't know what might end up happening, but for 4 Thrives, they are a little bit further down than they probably want to be. Maybe getting a bit aggro might be the answer for them, but I've seen a lot of mistakes today.
I think that has been the story of this tournament so far. Certainly for the finals, it's just a lot of mistakes being compounded one on top of the other. And Django Galacticos are sitting there just sort of not doing anything necessarily particularly special, but they're just not making these mistakes that other teams are. And it has allowed them such an advantage in this scenario. You can't be letting teams get away with this at this stage. We are now over halfway through our grand finals. This match is the first match of the second half of these grand finals, in fact. But you can't be letting teams get away with things like this. And at this level of gameplay, it's disappointing.
I think it is. And we came into this tournament thinking it's going to be the most competitive finals we've seen, and so far it's been great. We've had plenty of wonderful moments, but these back end 3 maps, I want to start seeing those rosters who are maybe, even honestly, at this point, even Fireflux down, start to get active, get involved, and get busy. Let's get aggressive and let's start playing like your tournament life is on the line, which it is. You want to make sure you are the champion. It's wide open. Alpha 7 are no longer here. This is the time to take the bull by the horn and full send it. Weibo still rotating up. Alter Egos, they're going to be taking the northern side, maybe even up towards Severny. Depending on how they decide to play this current zone, but it's getting quite contested up towards the top. You've got Ida, you've got, of course, Fire Flux, and you've got Noxium Red Force, who's also fighting for center control.
Yeah, northeast of Pachinki, trying to move up towards Yasnaya, potentially, going over for the bridges on that direction, but they divert from one another, and again, no casualties to be seen on this circle. It's more likely that you're going to try and put control around a bridge position, which is why I'm looking at what Power have done. Quite close to where Fireflux are right now, but they have control over quite a few crossings as it stands. Their split is fairly wide, and teams will start to test them on that. They will start to prod around Rozhok on the north side for the bridges, around Yasnaya for the west side on those bridges, and I imagine that Power are going to have to reconfigure at some point, because they do still have two players on that south split. So we'll wait and see how long they try and hold that one and see if they can keep up their heads.
Let's see it. You know, splits can be quite punishing. Sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze, but for Power, I think they should be all right. After all, they are coming off of wins, so I think the confidence is truly there. Would love to see Power elevate themselves up the standings. Currently in 6th place, not very far behind from breaking into top 3, but they do have some distance between not only APG and ultimately Yangon Galacticos. So for Power, if they can do well here, this could be a tremendous game. 4 Thrives have finally moved away from the western side bridge, giving space for APG to go across, and ultimately for 4 Thrives, one up closer and closer towards Yangon Galacticos, and ultimately that of DRX. Still plenty of distance between the two. They should be just fine. Everybody plenty of space. Nobody's dropped yet, so very slow early goings in the initial game.
Yeah, 4 Thrives currently just rocking up to that ruined split that will sit around those bridge crossings. And again, I'm going to re-emphasize this. Teams are going to be looking to control those crossings. With a team, with a circle that is split down the middle with this river, those positions are going to be huge, not only in terms of your ability to rotate yourself, but in the ability to control other teams around you. So this split for 4 Thrives, pretty solid right now, with DRX being that counterpoint on the north edge. The west side is starting to get really difficult. Next circle pops in. This is nasty all the way up to North George.
I love it. I really do. And look at how many teams now have to rotate to the western side of the map, get up top. The whole northern parts, shooting range and above, completely free, but maybe not for long. We haven't lost a player yet, but John, I think we're about to lose our first.
Oh, these bridge crossings are going to get brutal now. DRX, they're moving away from it, which might allow 4 Thrives to get on through nice and quickly, but the first knock comes on through. It's over towards Noxium Red Force. This is over by Fireflux as well, in school, in apartments, and you can see that Fireflux do not want to allow the team from South Korea to get out unscathed from this area. They're on the long side of the circle. In 20 seconds, it'll start closing. It's early stages, so you can hang out in the blue zone for a while, but they don't have too much time.
Tell you what, we talk about Yangon Galacticos, APG, and how well they've been playing today, but Fireflux, we got to give them their flowers, John. I mean, we're talking a 2nd and 3rd place in back-to-back maps, 12 eliminations in game number 8, game number 9 sitting at 9, so they're elevating themselves up. Now, for Fadin, he's moving forward, Sleepy just up above, he'll park the bus, move away, and I thought he was going to fire on the vehicle. He doesn't, so Sleepy in survival mode currently in the shed.
Power going parallel to a lot of these other teams, slamming into the east side of the circle, trying to push themselves into these hills. Thundertalk right on the boundary of this next circle. They do need to move further in, but so do Alter Ego, and they are across the road from one another. You could see these fights are a little bit isolated from one another right now. A 2v1 on the north side in favor of Thundertalk, but a 3v2 on the south side in favor of Alter Ego. Across the road, they're looking for that pressure, and that's brilliant. Okay, hang on a minute. They regroup 3 versus 3 for Alter Ego on this south point, but a big nade opens things up, and Moana can start to move in.
he's definitely going to move in. If he can time this right, he can get the shots on the King, and Nate is being cooked, but I don't think it's going to have an effect on Moana. Shuts the door maybe to throw off the scent of what Thunder Talk is up to. Rosemary being down is going to be tough, however. He's been instrumental in these fights. He's so good, but Krypton, have good faith he's going to be able to get Rosemary back up. Moana, in the meantime, will continue to keep the pressure up, so Thunder Talk can't push forward.
Ooh, are they going to get the res before he goes off on that nade? I don't think they did. Maybe looking for the re-knock. No. Just about able to squeak away from the damage there. And Thunder Talk going to live to see another day as 4. Rosemary is still down. They had to reposition away from the nade. Krypton still with 2 in hand, but the pump action, the leap around the broken wall, not going to quite connect. And Moana's down again. Now Ching trying to cut through them, and it's Alter Ego to fall next to the team from PEL. Thunder Talk at the bottom of the tables get 4 points to add to their tally.
Beautiful, beautiful job. Thunder Talk refused to push up and get overly aggressive. They held their ground. Luckily, Utility wasn't able to reach them, but the way they played that was great. All 4 members stay alive, and more importantly, they've got a free and clear route straight into the current zone. Thunder Talk, a potential strong game setting up, but the zone centers up to where it currently was. It still has those bridges and the river in play. 4 Thrive starts to look quite interesting as well, where they're currently at. Falcons too, but Falcons, I do worry about APG, Noxium Red Force, who most likely are going to come up north right behind them.
Yeah, it could get difficult on the south side. I mean, APG on the top of Everest right now. They'll be observing this Noxium Red Force rotation. The question is, do they want to try and engage the fight before moving? That south side can offer a little bit of sanctuary if APG want to get ahead of it. They might just push up to play around those bridges, but with 4 Thrives across the way, that's going to be pretty difficult to move up unscathed. Regnum Karya pushing up to the river, and again, these positions near the riverbank, very, very valuable.
DRX choosing to keep Regnum Karya's heads down, but the more shots they fire, the more activity they potentially draw in. Team Secret, Ida, Fireflux, she's been very aggressive off the back end of the 2 games. Thunder Talk also moving in. So for DRX, they should be just fine, because I expect those edge zone teams to maybe fight each other, or at least keep each other at bay. So in the meantime, DRX will continue to apply the pressure on Regnum Karya. APG though, Falcons, remember APG coming from the outside, now choosing to challenge that of the Falcons on the southern zone, and the nades are detrimental.
They're not going to try and hold on the top of Everest. They descend, and immediately the southern point of the Falcons is dispatched, and this 2-2, it feels like they didn't even expect another team to be on the south coast. You can hold this if you're just facing off against teams towards the north, but they are just isolated on that 2-player. There's no chance that Redox and Ralph could have even gone in to help there.
Right.
Again, I just have to question what the Falcons are thinking here. It feels like they are crumbling.
I agree 100%. Falcons have not been soaring high, and it's quite disappointing being the home team, being who they are, and knowing their potential. The finals just simply have not gone their way. They lose 2 players, and now you've got the players on the shoreline who are forced to keep their head down. Meanwhile, we transition on to Weibo versus Power. Power coming hot off of a big win, potentially elevating themselves up, and this is a critical fight, and the reason why Weibo Power are neck and neck in the point standings.
Trying to push one above the other right now. And Power with the inside track to this one. Remember, Power rotated all the way from the Yaz Bridge split that we saw earlier on. So they found themselves on the west side, on North George. Noxium Red Force actually rotating in behind Weibo as well. Remember that long rotate that we saw earlier on, where they rotated around the south side of Everest. So potentially a 3-party fight in North George as Noxium actually crossed. Not unscathed, the blue zone has been taking them down, but they can chill out for a little bit because Weibo do not have sightlines.
And also Thunder Talk and Ida are going to be fighting on the northern side. They start to get active, which might include Fireflux in just a little bit. So 3 teams converging and clashing up towards shooting range. Zone will rotate down. That forces Power to rotate in. But like I said, Ida, Fireflux, Thunder Talk. As Thunder Talk reposition, Jing taking a lot of damage. Scarface down low. You got to favor Fireflux in this moment. They've been hot. They've been slaying out. And they are looking to get active once again to catch up to DRX in top 3.
Thunder Talk somehow managed to sail straight through the middle of them, and Scarface actually goes down for Fireflux. Not really in the best of spots either, fairly isolated. Thunder Talk looking
to back down. They want to third party this, and they want to take advantage of the hillside where Rita is currently at, and Aaron, of course, and the rest are starting to move through. And now you've got Fireflux in this bowl. This is not going to be good for them, and most likely Ida is going to be able to pick them apart piece by piece.
Aaron on the hunt now, looking to try and capitalize on a downed player for Fireflux, but it's not quite come through just yet. Solus now is on the deck right next to Scarface. He's going to kneel up, go for this res, and then backed off the angle. Matcap putting lead down, putting pressure over towards the hillside, and that is going to allow this res to come through.
I am shocked Ida did not fully capitalize off of their location on the top ends, but hey, maybe they know something we don't, and they look as if they're going to reposition straight into the zone, potentially to just stay ahead or maybe even disengage completely from this Fireflux fight. But even still, Aaron getting tagged up, and he's forced to retreat, the straggler left behind.
Still fairly low elim counts across the board. 15 teams remain, the highest being Thundertalk with 4 elims. Of course, against Alter Ego, they're able to get a lot of value there. Their path is still treacherous.
Whoa.
And the Fireflux are going to ensure that. A slam straight in and against the rock. There's only one player now left standing. With Solus down, though, Fireflux, are they disengaging from this?
There's no way. Why would you? We already witnessed Ida disengage. Now Fireflux does as well. Even though Thundertalk is a down player and only one with half health, it makes no sense.
I mean, there's teams off in the distance. Maybe they're looking to try and keep themselves safe from the third party, but losing 2 players, they're going to crash straight on into the middle. Scarface wants a little bit of an off angle here, but Regnum Kaya, they spin him out. They crunch him on down. That nade actually did quite a lot of damage to Regnum Kaya, but Silas is there. There's a consistence from across the way. Catch, no way did he take down Regnum Kaya here. No way did they let this happen.
Catch, good connection. Regnum Kari is getting taken down. Silas has to look on helplessly. He cannot get down there and assist. The only thing he can do is try to keep Catch at bay. The solo from Fireflux. The solo that might be able to get 3 cleanups. Another nade rolls in, but it doesn't connect. So Silas still has the maneuverability in conjunction with Loxy to maybe get Regnum Karia back up into the fight.
They can potentially go for the full reset here. It's a question of if Catch can connect with another nade, or if a team from the south side gets angles on it. There's Loxy going down. 2 4th Thrives who are on the northern shore already. They managed to play the buildings on the east side on the cube and will spot the shot. But Wild was rezzed just before that knock was sent on in, which means that Regnum Kaya can still get the full reset.
All right, it's going to be tough though. Catch refuses to back away. Being in the shed, he's not overexposing himself. Therefore, nobody can truly get an angle. Now, with APG firing off from the distance, Silas has no choice but to back away and maintain his life.
The circle south shift again keeps the Falcons under the bridge alive for the time being, potentially for APG. A nice little turn up. Nongshim Red Force, they've been trying to push their way in behind this engagement for a while. They have 3 players left standing with Weibo in their way as well, with 2 players on that roster, and Power off to the north, playing as 2 themselves. It's been scrappy in North George for a while now, and nobody's really looking to push all the way out. I think Weibo closest to it.
Yeah, when the zone shifted, I knew these 2 teams were going to have to clash eventually, and unfortunately for Power, they've lost a lot, and they're going to continue to lose even more. Ragnar, who I feel has had an off day, the last one standing for Team Power. Nongshim Red Force, they want the final elimination, and there's nothing that tells me they're not going to be able to get it. Nongshim Red Force, a team trying to work their way up, currently in 10th place, but their tournament run is not over with just yet. Power finds a way to disengage and get out of there, but only for a little bit of time. I mean, Weibo most likely going to see him if he runs across the field.
And Yangon Galacticos across the way, very happy to be on the turret, overlooking the exit from North George right now. They've got control over a lot of this circle. Regnum Kaya, that sits out to their east, have that ridge line where Silas was hunting out towards the riverbank there, but that could potentially be challenged depending on how this fight on the north side concludes. With So Easy on that ridge, they're looking to try and take care of the arena, and they need to try and fight it out now.
Well, Ida's fully eliminated. They were the ones getting into a fight with Fireflux and Thundertalk on the northern side, but even though they're gone, it doesn't mean the northern side is free and clear. DRX, E-Arena, fighting currently for the hilltop control. Of course, they still have to move their way in, and when it comes to E-Arena, they're taking some heavy damage. Joker barely able to stand up, finally dropped as DRX continues to push up, continues to slay out, and there's no reason why I think they're going to lose this fight.
Unfortunately, though, DRX have a knock on their back backline and potentially off, oh goodness me, potentially an off angle coming through from Team Secret on their western side. This is dangerous. This is pretty tricky to navigate, but they do still have the momentum advantage. Nongshan Red Force, by the way, eliminated over in the northwest side. So were Power. So only Weibo going to have a chance to get out of North George there. Another nade sent on over, but look at the angle that Silas has. This is brutal oversight onto this fight.
Here it goes. They're clashing. They're up close. Now it's a CQC fight. Hyunbin, great shots, but also takes a little bit of damage himself, and through the smoke he drops. And look, Silas with the off angle, just peppering shots on anybody he possibly can. It's even going to be Toshpik taking down a DRX player. And by the way, update, Regnum Karya does manage to recover, get all 4 members up. They still have great legs in this map.
Definitely a lot of opportunity here for Regnum Karya. At the point standings that they're at right now, they do need every blessing they can get. Yangon Galacticos are still alive, though. They have 3 elims. They're in a really solid spot. The difficulty will potentially be in their run out when it comes to stage 7. That sort of phase. Start to extend your line north, south. They're right on the edge of this next circle. They'll have to contend with Team Secret trying to push it from the north edge, but eArena going to have to move first.
I do wonder where 4th Thrives are going to decide to go. They're a bit split on the river side, so they wanted to control both ends. They got to move up. If they go up north, they're going to run into Regnum Karya, and that engagement that's taking place with Team Secret, eArena. For the other 2, if they go down low, it's not going to be easy for them either, but they're forced to move forward. That's going to be into Redox. The solo from Team Falcons, and Falcon is going straight into him.
Falcon is going to continue that crash on the south side. Noki does get pinged away there by Ziol, who is overlooking that south side of the bridge. The fact that the southern shoreline is still in is crazy. This is the only reason, really, that Alpha Gaming are still alive in this one. 4th Thrives going to go for a swim, going to try and meet up with Falak on that western side.
They have to, because APG is also about. So you got the solo from Falcons with Redox, and then you also have APG, or they're going to be fighting desperately for control on the southern side. Weibo a little bit too far away. I don't think they're going to have an effect, but maybe so. This Regnum Karya fight is still ongoing, and it's taking place with a ton of distance. You've got eArena still firing on Wild and Co. in the south. You've got Team Secret, who's still looking to find a couple of positions. But all of this right going down is favorable for Yangon Galacticos to potentially apex 100 points, and more importantly, get another winner chicken dinner.
It could be massive here. They are 1 point shy, and there's placements yet to be added for them. They will be crossing the boundary over into triple digits here on match number 10. A beautiful average, still keeping pace. Can anyone take it away from them now? Because Silas has been re-knocked. They do manage to get rid of eArena, but 2 players now down on the deck as Team Secret push in on the long spit ridgeline against Regnum Karya, and it looks like there's no resistance.
Silas, Toshpik now fully gone for Regnum Karya. 2 more with a sliver of health. Wild looking at IQ from a distance. Loxy forced to hit the dirt, get a little bit of health before he re-engages onto the fights of the 4-man unit from Team Secret, who continues to push up. Now, we do notice IQ gets active on APG, so that 4 Thrives rotate in. It takes down the solo from Falcons, and it also engages into the APG fight, which a couple of players are going to be down as we look at Team Secret once again pushing forward on Loxy, on Wild. I want to say for Regnum Karya to be alive this long, to recover when you looked at him earlier, 3 players down. Silas, the guy to try and keep them up, and they managed to recover, and they're still up fighting against Team Secret. It's been a wonderful game for them.
Regnum Karya will be going down here, though, almost certainly. Loxy has a nade in hand. He's looking to try and get the cook on, get a knock or 2 maybe towards Team Secret, but they have 4 players. They're all above him on this ridgeline. They should know he's on this buggy.
Don't count him
They'll
out.
send it out wide,
Don't
and they're
count him
spraying
out.
already. They're pre-firing, and I'm counting him out now because he's dead. He's gone. He's out of there. Regnum Karya full. And now Team Secret with an opportunity to play that ridgeline that I put so much stock in terms of that predictive power. I feel like Team Secret do have a big chance here, but the next circle,
let's see it,
is just around the corner, and it will dictate how this game goes. APG already starting to put their feelers over towards the northern side with 4 Thrives. Their lone player still remains, and we're going across the river. Yangon Galacticos, I mean, it's like these circles want them to win this tournament.
100%. Yangon Galacticos have been chilling. I've seen them get active in the elimination feed a couple of times, right, with Smile from a distance with a knock here and there, but it's like they've just been chilling. They're hanging out. they're in a great spot in the standings. They already have a point lead even over second place and even more so over third at DRX at 69. So for them, they don't need to do anything special. They just need to play good PUBG Mobile. And that's exactly what they're doing. This game surely going their way. Meanwhile, in the southern portion, still deadly as ever. Weibo focused on APG. You notice 4 Thrives were taken out. They were a team that crashed in on the solo of Falcons. APG then started fighting with them, managed to stay all 4 up. So for Team Secret, most likely going to try and gatekeep APG. This could be wonderful for them. They can rack up even more eliminations.
Team Secret starting to get a move on now, get a shift across. There really isn't too much cover that sits ahead of them here, but Weibo finally going to get drained away. 3 teams now remain, and they are all sat at 4 players remaining. This is all-out warfare. At the moment, interestingly enough, Alpha Gaming actually the most central team. However, Yangon Galacticos can move forwards on their buildings, and they will be even more central than that. Team Secret, the first team that needs to make a move now.
So APG has good real estate on the shoreline, but Team Secret also have good real estate on the high ground, and they're going to be able to stop APG. I say that, Doc, though, it's a wonderful shot on the train, dropping a player from Team Secret. Yangon Galactica says, hey, you guys can still fight it out. We're going for the placement points. We want another winner chicken dinner to Apex everybody, which would be at 4, by the way, which would be incredible. Team Secret manages to get trained back up. Another 4v4 about to ensue.
Nobody biting the dust just yet. 3 teams, 12 players in action. Reefus getting rezzed as well. You can see Yangon Galacticos playing the high ground on the rooftops there, which is why they're staying so far back on their building. The next circle will be coming in 10 seconds as well. Could potentially shift away from Yangon Galacticos towards Alpha Gaming. I think this is why we haven't seen any moves being made just now. Team Secret, they feel like they're too close to the edge and they want to get more ground. It shifts away from Yangon Galacticos over towards this side of the map, and maybe Team Secret went too early. They pulled the trigger, and Alpha Gaming were ready for them.
Absolutely ready. Jaiki now has to get desperate. He's got to push up the solo to try and keep APG's hope and dreams alive for the winner chicken dinner, but APG takes them apart 1 by 1. But hey, maybe there's life. Maybe there's an opportunity. Jaiki pushes up, and Buddy's dropped down, unfortunately, and now Yangon Galacticos are pushing in, and Romeo's got a beautiful off angle.
You wait 5 seconds as Team Secret, and none of this happens. You don't rotate down. You don't go for this crash because you don't need to. You wait for Yangon Galacticos to move, but all of a sudden, it's over towards the top of the tables, and Yangon Galacticos trying to defend their first place spot, but Alpha Gaming won't go down without a fight, and they're being assisted by their opponents here. Self-nades, Smile down next, and Yangon Galacticos lose a few in the fight.
Alpha Gaming can still do this, but I love the off angle from Romeo, and a beautiful nade puts it into it, and Yangon Galacticos takes another win for today to put them at 2 and a total of 4 winner chicken dinners.
This is insane at a global level. Yangon Galacticos get a challenge for the records here as they rack up yet another chicken dinner. Beautiful stuff coming on through, but I have to say a lot of that was because of Team Secret. They opened
100%.
the door, they pushed
100%.
down, they allowed Yangon Galacticos to get across this one for free.
Wasn't necessary. Wasn't necessary.
It's messy, and I feel like this is what we're seeing. It's mistakes being made.
Yes.
And Yangon Galacticos, the only team that seems to see through it all.
Without a doubt, again, with them in the point standing, so comfortable, they don't need to get desperate. They can just play nice and controlled PUBG Mobile. That's exactly what they're doing, and they're forcing other rosters to make the mistakes themselves. Fully agree with you, John. That push from Team Secret, messy and just so unnecessary. So much to talk about, so much to break down. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll recap map number 4 and hop in to map number 5.
This land is calling.
Pulsar Legionnaire available now. First outfit with special head animations and voice lines. The Pulsar Legionnaire set comes with its own super cute voice lines that can be toggled on or off.
What happened? Bye, friend. Hello, Earth. I'm here.
It also features the upgradable Hyperion ship DSR and Jet Reaver glider with special animations. Experience parachuting like never before. That's not all. Even more rewards await. Event period, July 25th, 2025 through August 26th, 2025. What are you waiting for? Get the new Guild set now.
Yangon Galacticos with only 10 games down, 4 wins under their belt. They are inches away from that trophy. Of course, everything can happen when we get into the Smash Zone, but right now they are making waves. They are creating a typhoon, never mind waves. This is ridiculous. I was concerned about how they were playing this out overall with the compound, but then the perfect push out. Oh, Neptura, 7. Neptura, Yangon looks fantastic.
Don't they just? It's so nice to see. I mean, you could say time and time again, yeah, they get a lot of compounds in the central zone. The zone keeps going to them. But what really impresses me about this team is the timing.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all saying it backstage, right? You get in there and there's a fight going on, and instantly, as soon as they clock what's happening, they are up on that high ground. They're pushing in from 2 different sides. It's this synergy that we're, to be honest, if I may be so bold, we're not seeing from the other teams. This is the synergy we want to see. This is the timing.
I would actually have to disagree with that. I think there is one team that is showing us a little bit more synergy, or even just tying their synergy, and is that second place team on this match ranking, Alpha Gaming, with those 16 points. The way that this team was able to clear 2 players up from Team Falcons on the South Circle earlier on, taking full control of that, and then having to spread out and making sure they took care of Weibo, making sure they took care of Team Secret too. Ultimately, there was no way that they were going to be able to focus on 2 things at once. They had to focus on Team Secret, which allowed Yangon Galacticos the perfect time to third-party that fight.
Yeah, I think Alpha Gaming knew how they wanted to approach all of the scenarios, but Yangon just didn't give them it, right? Just considering how quickly they hit on that 3rd position when the compound had been pushed down. Team Secret at the same time able to dispatch of where Regnum Cario was in that dip and then move down the way that they moved down. I think that Team Secret played this well, as well Neptura, considering the harshness of the terrain overall.
Yeah, this was a very difficult zone. It's not one we see often, so it's not one that these teams actually get a lot of practice on. I do agree. I think they took their time to clear that north side, but once that was empty and free for them, Team Secret were able to just move down really, really well, take control of that high ground, sweep through Regnum Caria. I really enjoyed that because that also gives you that momentum. You've got those elims behind you. You're ready to conquer the next team. It was very nice from them.
The way that they were able to take the fight with Regnum Cario, it was what's impressive to me, because we saw earlier on Fireflux trying to take that fight too. Yeah, Ketch was able to knock 2 players, but he wasn't able to confirm those eliminations. They made sure they got the player that had the highest ground, which was Silas. On top of that, it forced one of the other players from Regnum Caria to try to push out, see if he could revive Silas. They saw that opportunity and they hunt him down quickly.
Yeah, I mean, considering Regnum Cario was in that little spot there, 7, for a long time throughout this game, and was able to do a lot from it, to be honest. It's a little shallow little dip, but when it comes to a circle like this, it does have some value.
I personally liked it. I thought it was. I thought the way that they were able to defend it. I'm glad that they didn't have all their 4 players there within that dip. If that would have been the case, then I would have been fully against it. I'm really happy that they were able to use the vehicles as well. As you can see, they set up a barrier to make sure that the dip was even more in their favor. And then on top of that, you have Silas being able to get that high ground, being able to surprise everybody. Silas ultimately is what saved them whenever they were fighting Fireflex.
It's true, and also it's really, really nice to see that he didn't use the highest ground he could go for, because that particular ridge is so open. You can see, anybody can see you wherever they are in the map. So it was really nice that he took a mid-ground position instead. It gave him enough of a vision against other teams, but didn't endanger himself.
Honestly, we watched this grenade like 4 times just then, because it might end up being a PMWC winning grenade. I'm not exaggerating. Yangon Galacticos here with that at the very end. It shows you've got to save your util to the very end of the game. You've got to be able to use it in the most dire of situations. And everyone else was knocked from Yangon Galacticos. They had to do something there, 7, to make it happen, and it happened.
I enjoyed it, and I have to agree with the point that you made earlier in regards to their timing. Their timing is just so good. And on top of that, this team was sitting in the compound for the longest time. What have I been saying this whole time? Sometimes we see this team's being able to just be in the compound. They get too lazy. They aren't proactive. They don't end up scouting. And guess what? Yangon Galacticos is not one of those teams. They are continuing to scout, and they're making sure that they do whatever they can to third party whenever it's possible.
The numbers don't lie, and right now, you're right. If any other team or a lot of the other teams had been in that compound there, they wouldn't have been proactive enough to say, okay, if it shifts away from us, how are we going to move here, 7? What are we going to be able to do to be able to get ourselves out of this rut? And Yangon did it.
Look at the stats. Just look at the stats. By the way, this is from yesterday and today as well. Both days combined, you're averaging 6 eliminations. You're averaging over 1,300 damage. On top of that, the thing that's most impressive to me, Neptura, has to be that average survival time.
It is. I mean, rarely do you see a team with that average over the last 10 matches. To have that sort of average really means you're doing something right. Whether it's those splits, whether it's weaseling your way into zone, whether it's taking full control of the zone, they are able to be in that top 5, in that end game time and time and time again. And that, like you said, is a PMWC winning strategy.
I like what a lot of the teams were trying to do in this game, trying to go to the river, trying to use that riverbank as kind of some shelter. We saw Weibo trying to do it. We saw APG doing it as well, 7. So I get why they wanted to go down there. In the end, it kind of became the most forte position for a lot of these teams, but yeah.
I was glad that APG went for it. I was glad that APG was sweeping that much. I've been glad and happy so far at what I've seen out of APG.